Hello everyone, Recapped Mystery here. Welcome back. Today, I'm going to explain a fantasy film called The Man Without Gravity. Watch out and take care. The film begins with a woman named Natalia and her mother, Alina, driving through a storm. "I'm going to the hospital." The lady is in labor. She begs her mother to hurry up since she is in pain. When they arrive at the hospital, a nurse at the front desk informs them that no doctors are available. At the time, it is available. As a result, she assists the woman personally. Natalia ultimately gives birth, but the baby does not survive. In fact, he floats through the air as if he were lighter than it. Natalia grabs the umbilical cord and carefully pulls him towards her. As the three are astonished, Natalia and her mother flee with the newborn. Without disclosing their identities, Natalia is overjoyed to have given birth to such a special child. She believes her child is an angel. Natalia believes that if he eats something, he will stop flying. Alina asks Natalia who the father is, but Natalia doesn't know because she doesn't know who the father is. She worked as a prostitute. Alina then says that the child will not be permitted to leave his house. She wants to protect him, keep the baby safe from the harsh world outside. Alina awakens the next morning to see the infant lying on the ceiling. She cautiously lowers him. Oscar is his given name by the two. Just then, four of Alina's pals arrive at their door to see the newborn. Natalia belts the baby to the cot and covers him with a blanket. The women had no suspicions. One of them, they try to take up Oscar, but Alina refuses. Allow her, citing the baby's fragility. The women then go. The two then make the ceiling of the house comfy for the child so he can sleep freely. Oscar is allergic to the sun, so he cannot go outside, according to Alina. Cut to a few years later, and Oscar has matured into a lovely child. He spends his days peering out the window at passers-by and watching Batman on TV. At home, Alina also teaches him to read and write. Natalia creates him a jacket with weights in the pockets. One day, Oscar is now able to walk on the ground. Natalia is relieved since she can now send her son to school. Alina, on the other hand, is opposed to him leaving the house for his own safety. Even when Natalia insists, Alina refuses. Oscar is alone in his house one day when he unlocks the window and tries to escape. When Alina and Natalia return, they are surprised to see the window open. They initially assumed Oscar had fled the house, but Oscar's jacket had obviously been stolen. He'd fallen off and was lodged in the ceiling. Alina begins without taking any extra risks to permanently close the windows, but Natalia has had enough. She wants her child to go outside and see the real world. She had a quarrel with her mother and then takes Oscar outside that night. During their walk, she advises him to keep his power hidden in order to protect himself from harm. He walks with a limp because he hasn't walked much throughout his life. Natalia started taking him out in his jacket every day from then on. They walk hand in hand, and Natalia even teaches him how to walk properly. Natalia and Oscar are out shopping one day when she abandons Oscar outside a store. The small girl is enraged and requests that he assist her in carrying the items to her house. Oscar hesitates at first, but eventually decides to assist her in carrying bottles. The two walk out of the store. They discuss a variety of topics while driving. Oscar is tired after a time of walking because of the weights in his pockets, so he throws them out. The bottle's weight keeps him on the ground. When they arrive at Agatha's house, she requests the bottles. Oscar refuses, knowing that he will fly away without them. The two yank on the bottles, eventually dropping them. Oscar flies up now that the weights are gone, but is mercifully stopped by Ruth. The tiny girl thinks he's a superhero and watches him in wonder. He hands him her rucksack so he can remain on the ground and pledges not to tell anyone. Natalia is at home, distraught over her son. Just then, he dashes home. He tells his mom about his new acquaintance. When asked if she is aware of Oscar's abilities, he lies and claims that she is not. Agatha and Oscar start playing together the next day. She comes to Oscar's for playdates every day. Agatha's grandmother brings her over one day. Natalia realizes this when she talk, that Agatha is aware of Oscar's abilities. So she doesn't let Oscar play with her the next day. Agatha goes to Oscar's house every day, but Natalia always finds a reason to send her away. Agatha brings her grandmother to Oscar's one day. Natalia dismisses them, claiming Oscar must finish his homework, but Agatha discloses that Oscar does not attend school. The grandma and several females in the police are called to Natalia's house by the town. They demand that Natalia and Alina enroll Oscar in school, and the two comply. Alina was no longer alive. The mother and son have relocated to the Highlands and are leading normal lives there. Oscar is usually carrying his rucksack. Oscar watches an advertisement for a talent event on TV one day. The announcer encourages anyone with a special talent to audition for the show. He wants to participate in the event to show off his talent, so he decides to leave town without informing his mother. Oscar attends a talent exhibition a few days later and displays his flying ability to everyone. Some others believe Oscar is an angel. Oscar catches the eye of a talent scout named David, who offers Oscar the opportunity to become a famous. David informs him that he will be invited to TV shows to demonstrate his talent. Oscar's greatest want is to have a book published about him, and David swears to make it happen. That occurs. Oscar signs a contract with David without hesitation. Then David gives him the stage name A Man Without Gravity. David presents him with a luxury property as a gift after signing the contract. He wants his mother to stay as well, but David prohibits it. The next day, Oscar begins appearing on TV shows and in magazines as a model. As he grows, he enjoys the lively city life at first, but gradually begins to dislike it. "I'm bored and feeling empty." He begins to gather a large number of followers. David purposely fabricates fake stories about Oscar in order to increase his celebrity. He even creates an Oscar museum in which he displays random stuff as his belongings in order to benefit from them. Oscar later complains about the media circulating incorrect information about him. He does not wish to live his life in this manner anymore. He is tired of the celebrity lifestyle. Thus, he requests that David cancel the contract. But then David mentions a publisher who wants to meet with him to write a book on him. Hearing this, he reconsiders his dream of having a book written about him is finally realized, coming to life. He is completely overjoyed. However, when he goes to meet the author and publisher, he discovers that they are both men, simply looking to sell as many books as possible for a profit. They want to inflate his life story, portraying him as terribly destitute as a child, adding bogus stories. Oscar refuses to cooperate with the publisher after hearing this. David brings Oscar's mother over the next day because he knows Oscar misses her. She comes at Oscar's house for a party. Oscar liked to collect encouraging phrases, which Natalia has carried with her. Natalia is overjoyed to meet her kid, while Oscar appears to be in mourning. The following day, Oscar makes an error while appearing on a live television program. Oscar admits that he no longer wants to be the guy without gravity. He requests that David stage his death so that he can enjoy a peaceful life. The word quickly spreads. Everyone is talking about Oscar's death, including journalists, come to Oscar's residence every day in order to. After a few days, Oscar has changed his name to Desky. He disguises himself and claims to be disabled in order to bind himself to a chair. When going outside, use a wheelchair. Desky is now a receptionist at a hotel known for its prostitutes, except for one. Every room is empty on Christmas Eve. Desky goes into the room to check on the person. He meets the new prostitute there, who assures him that everything is okay. As he prepares to leave, the woman addresses Desky by his given name, Oscar. As it turns out, the woman's name is Agatha. She has begun to work as a prostitute. They are overjoyed to see each other again. They go on a date the next day and talk about numerous things from their past. They return to Oscar's room at night to have sex. They genuinely love each other, yet Agatha is still hesitant to accept Oscar's affection because of her line of work. They have a large argument about the matter, and Oscar leaves. Oscar returns to his hometown the following day to discover that the location has been abandoned. The museum that was set up to display Oscar's possessions has also been closed. He walks inside his old house and stays for a while when someone unexpectedly knocks on the door. Agatha is dressed as her younger self. Oscar smiles when he sees her like that. Oscar and Agatha are married and reside in Oscar's boyhood house a few years later. Agatha is expecting their child. Oscar has begun working as a window washer. The film concludes with Oscar dressed as Batman, cleaning a skyscraper's glass. He is living out his boyhood fantasy. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. To assist the channel, turn on notification and leave a like. Thank you for taking the time to watch. See you again soon.